The podcast you are about to listen to contains at least one of the following: strong language, disturbing topics, abusive opinions, generally things that aren't appropriate for little kids or overly sensitive people. So, if any of that stuff's going to get your nose out of joint, this is your chance to turn it off. Welcome to I Had to Say It, the podcast where I not only say the things I need to say, but the things I think you need to hear. And your feelings, they're not a factor. Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of I Had to Say It. So we're going to start out as we do by saying to Josh, Iceman, Jason, Miss Aaron, Mike, Tabby, Javier, Fitz, McShane, El Jefe, El Devlin, El Morte, the guys at the Weather Report, Billy G, and to Walt from B-Raw Podcast. Thank you guys for your continued support. And just as a footnote to put it out there, if somebody signed up through Spotify recently, I don't know. I got some random ass deposit from Spotify, and since I've stopped running ads, I don't know what it could possibly be for. But if you did sign up through Spotify, I have no idea who you are because I didn't get any kind of explanation or detail as to why I all of a sudden got some money in my account from Spotify. Unless it's just from like old episodes that had monetization activated in them. But since I stopped running the ads a while ago because I didn't really see the fucking point, I'm thoroughly confused as to why all of a sudden I'm getting a payout from Spotify. But either way, so if you are the person, it is the reason now Spotify sent me money, let me know and I will definitely include you in the shout-outs. So thank you very much for your support, guys. It really means a lot to me. And there's going to be some new supporter-exclusive content coming out very shortly. So it's something to look forward to. Anyway, so in this upcoming week, we're going to be having the DNC in Chicago, and pretty much true to form, it's already been a complete shit show, and it hasn't even started yet. They've already got protesters coming in by the tens of thousands to protest the DNC. Now, the ironic thing about this is all of those protesters are leftist assholes, just like the people they're actually protesting are a bunch of leftist assholes. The DNC has pretty much abandoned all precepts of trying to act like they have anything left to do with fucking democracy at this point. They have installed fences and concrete barricades to keep the people that are going to be showing up to protest the DNC away from the, politicians and political elite and the paid fucking endorsers that are going to be there. And they have pretty much precluded any of the actual people having a voice in the process through the placement of Camel Toe Harris into the candidacy. The fact that apparently, without having received a single primary vote from a single American voter, all these states are going to pledge their electoral votes to her so she can be the nominee. Ultimately, it's, the whole process stinks on ice. I've talked about it before. It's the complete subversion of every democratic ideal that these people claim to stand for. And meanwhile, their supporters are going along clapping like trained seals and just loving it and lapping it the fuck up. But not all of them. That's the funny thing about it. I've said it before and I'll say it again. Camel Toe is a fucking communist. Her father was a Marxist economic professor. He advised the Venezuelan fucking government on the policies that failed horribly every time they've been implemented, and surprise, surprise, failed horribly in Venezuela that led to breadline starvation and people dying by the thousands because there was no food, because Marxist policies are completely unrealistic, fucking stupid ways to try and run your country. And it's basically, Camel Toe, the first real statement she's put out in any way, shape, or form this election cycle that resembles a policy that wasn't something she just bit from Trump. Because let's be honest, she bit from Trump, Trump bit from Ron Paul, saying, oh, well, I'm going to work to eliminate taxes on tips. And I talked about that last week. Yeah, she said it. The difference is Trump said he was going to do it. She said she's going to work on doing it. So, that there's a lot of wiggle room in that. Like, I'm going to fight for this. I'm going to work on that. No, that means you don't actually expect to accomplish anything. You're just going to make a real big show that you said you were going to try. But these are the people who are the everybody gets a trophy mindset motherfuckers. These are the people who don't care about performance. They care about feelings and how the optics are on something. They said they're trying really hard. They said they care a whole bunch. They said they mean things. The fact that they can't deliver any of it doesn't really matter. The fact that communism has never, ever fucking worked, and this dumb cunt seems to think that, well, we're going to implement regulations to prevent price gouging on groceries and things people need, and we're going to build we're going to build 3 million new units so we can solve the housing market crisis in America. Well, you want to see how well state-owned, state-funded, state-financed housing works? Take a look at, China is full of high-rise apartments that are fucking empty because the government doesn't do things efficiently. They don't build buildings efficiently. They don't fill buildings efficiently. And the people are still going to be too poor, too hungry, and too dead to fucking, fill those buildings. It's a lot of empty gestures, and realistically, those buildings are going to go to fucking illegals if Kamala gets her fucking way. And then she comes up with another line of bullshit that sounds really good to anybody who is completely fiscally illiterate, i.e. pretty much everybody that is her target demographic, because it's all the morons complaining about their student loan debt and how they can't afford to live because their 22-hour-a-week part-time job that they refer to as their career really doesn't pay the fucking bills. And they don't think it's fair that a barista doesn't make $35 an hour because that's obviously a really strong skill set to pour a fucking cup of coffee, because most of these motherfuckers aren't even allowed to work the fucking coffee maker. They just get handed the cup and hand it to you and then turn the pad around for you to push 0 tip because frankly they haven't done a fucking thing to earn it. And they're generally the people that she targets with these things. So the next thing she comes out where her new stance on policy is, after she's going to fight the price gouging in that horrible greedy grocery store market, and these are the same people who, it's kind of a commie, right out of the commie playbook. You control the food supplies, you control the population. And that is realistically all this has ever been about, is population control. And now I'm going to get sidetracked onto something else. But first, let me focus on Camel Toe and the fucking DNC here for a few minutes still. Stay focused, Aaron. Stay on task. So this dumb bitch, her next statement that comes out where she's finally starting to talk about the policy she wants to implement when she's elected. Now, I don't understand why she can't try and push this shit through since she's currently sitting in office and has plenty of influence. Everybody knows Joe isn't making any of these fucking calls, but this dumb bitch has to get elected before she can start fighting for these things because, a lot of empty, stupid promises to empty, stupid fucking people is all this dumb cunt has. But ultimately, so she starts talking about, well, I'm going to make sure that everybody gets a $6,000 tax credit for every newborn baby. Now, the irony of the party of you can kill your baby anytime it's inconvenient for you, stumping for tax credits for children, is lost on the vast majority of the fucking people out there, I think. But furthermore, this is another case of she didn't say this shit until after J.D. Vance came out in an interview and said he believed the child tax credit should be expanded to $5,000 per child to encourage the American population, which has a declining birth rate, to have kids. So after Camel Toe copies that, then the next thing you know, she comes up with her next absolutely retarded, dysfunctional, quote-unquote, policy that she's going to be... on day one of election, I'm going to start fighting for these people to make things... blah, 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 blah. This word salad tossing bitch comes out and she says something, and she says, and I'm going to fight to give every new first-time home buyer a $25,000 tax credit to put a down payment on their home. And now I can hear people who have smooth brains saying, but Aaron, why would that not be a good thing to help people buy more houses? Well, see, when you have a guaranteed $25,000 paid for by the government, so your taxes going into this, guaranteed payment, you know what it does? It just raises the cost of a first-time home purchase across the board by $25,000. That is literally the direct consequence of this, on top of which it will increase the tax burden of every individual in the country for every single house that is purchased. So people that don't own these houses will be having their tax burden increased by the $25,000 tax credit that the government will be supposedly handing out to these people to increase their purchasing power to buy these homes that they can't afford. And realistically, it's only really benefits the people who have no business buying a fucking house in the first place, if it's implemented the way they're trying to imply this will be. So Kamala brings her father's entire set of Marxist failed policies and is stumping on him and trying to campaign on him. And she's doing an absolutely shit job going into the DNC, where even like staunch leftist ally media outlets are like, are you sure this is the platform you want to be on? You might be going full communist here, and that's not really what the American ideals are supposed to be. Like the Washington Post, CNN, fucking MSNBC have all come out and been like, this might be a little too much, bitch. You need to pump the brakes. There's always this possibility that at the DNC there will be some sort of upset and she won't get the nod. I really doubt that, to be honest. At this point, I think they're too committed. They have to play the cards they're dealt. They're not acting like they're concerned about it between Waltz's prancing, fruity fucking attitude and the general stupidity of everything they've done thus forth. Like the fact that they have a candidate who has refused to do press interviews. So their natural reaction to that is to have Waltz and Harris interview each other. And it was the cringiest, most disturbing, disgusting, pathetic, pandering horse shit that I've ever seen. And they've got Tim Walz, who has literally zero dignity or self-respect, from what I can tell. He's just a pathetic yes man that is starved for affection and attention, that will do anything for him to think people like him. And he's too fucking stupid to tell the difference between being laughed with and being laughed at. And he comes in and he starts talking about, white people, he eats white people food, and his spiciest seasoning is black pepper. And now this is after a few years ago, he actually placed in the like hot pot competition that I think it was Al Franken was hosting. But yeah, so this motherfucker is being empathetic, and some people are saying, they're just having fun with it. It's like, no, they're playing to negative anti-white stereotypes, and I generally don't like to make things about race, but when that's actively what they're doing, that's literally everything they're stumping on. Like, she's a strong black woman, even though up until recently she identified as West Indian, and he's a pathetic white guy who's an ally to these poor shit-upon minorities, because look at him laughing at the fact that we have all these stereotypes about white people can't cook. I mean, maybe I just take this one a little personally, since my entire career has been based on the fact that that's horse shit. I like to think I'm good at what I do. I receive lots of compliments on my cooking. And I know how to use seasonings and spices and prepare things properly so they're flavorful and bold and rich. And I like spicy shit, and I know plenty of other crackers who like spicy shit. I know some white people who eat some of the hottest shit on the fucking planet, and that's just the way they are, because they're white people and they're imbalanced, and they like shit so spicy that their asshole burns for 3 days after they're done eating. And hey, more power to them. No judgment. You guys know who you are. I love you. You know I do. Send me some peppers or some shit. But anyway, so Harris comes out and she's stumping around, waving the commie flag. You know, the trained seals clap and make stupid animal noise. Yeah, she's so brave, she's so stunning, she's so clever. They put out these cringy, pandering, fucking staged video clips like they're on their campaign bus on their way to the DNC. Oh, look, they stopped at a gas station because they need snacks. Look, chips. You know, and Kamala, here's your Doritos and all this other dumb shit. I mean, it's utterly fucking just cringe-inducing and embarrassing. And there's nothing genuine about it. There's nothing. This entire campaign has been nothing but like fake scripted horseshit. And it's understandable, because every time Camel Toe goes off script, she comes off as the smooth-brained, room temperature IQ having drunk that she fucking is. She has no ability to go off the cuff. She can't function without a teleprompter and a pre-scripted answer. She cannot answer questions. That's why they don't let her talk to the press, because every time she opens her mouth, she crams her fucking foot into it, or if there's not a convenient foot handy, from what I understand, she crams a cock into it. But that's hearsay and rumor. That's not nice of me to speculate that, she's funneling any dick she can get around that she thinks will advance her career in some way, shape, or form. That is entirely speculative, and it's irresponsible of people to repeat those kind of things. We should never be going out highlighting the fact that Kamala's a worthless, talentless DEI cunt who got where she was by blowing Willie Brown. So that would not be nice, or the kind of thing you want to repeat ever frequently to people anytime they bring her up. But on the kind of reassuring side, we've seen a lot of, pushback, and the typical Democrat stronghold voter bases have really kind of lost their patience with this shit. They're starting to realize the different minorities are realizing they're being replaced by fucking illegals. They are no longer being pandered to. They are no longer the favorite child. And they're waking up to that fact, even though a lot of us have been trying to tell them that for fucking years. Better late than never, I guess, as long as we're not full commie yet, we still have a chance to pump the brakes. Because once the full commie is in place, it's gonna get a lot more fucking difficult to ouster these fucking career parasites and professional bureaucrats. But it is what it is. We're at where we're at on the timeline, and we're gonna have to see how things play out. And so another thing that's going on here on Sunday with leading into the DNC starts in the morning. And on Sunday, we've already got, like I said, we've got thousands of protesters in Chicago tying up streets, interfering with traffic, fucking up people's day-to-day lives. Generally, some of the more undesirable individuals and this will tie into the next thing I want to talk about. But for the moment, I want to focus on these protesters. And I've seen it on the news, and it's a pretty big march, and they're calling out Kamala for being complicit in the slaughter of Gaza. It's more of these pro-Palestinian fuckwit, smooth-brained college kids funded by their parents and George Soros in approximately that order, who are there to just express their displeasure with the fact that Palestine is being bombed to the fucking Stone Age, where they probably are very comfortable because I don't believe the Americans should be funding either side of any foreign wars. That's just, I'm very much a non-interventionist because we have our own fucking problems to deal with. We don't need to be policing the world. We don't need to be financing every fucking fight on the planet. But ultimately, at the end of the day, if they hadn't gone in on October 8th and slaughtered a bunch of Jewish people, kidnapped a bunch of people, raped a bunch of women and children, they wouldn't be getting the fuck bombed out of them right now. So my sympathy's tempered, cause and effect. You fuck around, you find out. You'd think anybody with any kind of basis in history would understand every time the Arab nations decide to fuck with the Jews, it's pretty much how it goes. They fuck back with them and they kill tons of them. But that doesn't stop the Arab nations from trying to kill all the fucking Jews, which starts the cycle over and over again. It's been going on for thousands of years. It will probably be going on until one side wipes out the fucking other. I know that hurts a lot of people's feelings when you say shit like that, but that's just the truth. These people have an animosity that goes deeper than anything your average Western mind understands, and it's culturally ingrained in their systems. They've been killing each other since time immemorial, and it's not going to stop just because a bunch of fucking Karens from the Midwest decide they don't like it and want to go beat on a cymbal in downtown Chicago. Now, the ironic thing I really want to address about this is the people marching for the Palestinians this weekend in Chicago. Big fucking banner at the head of the fucking protest parade. And it's feminists and LGBTQIA plus for Palestine. The irony to this is palpable. You can taste it. These dumb motherfuckers who don't seem to realize the people they are protesting on behalf of do not share their values, do not value their support, do not value their lives, their existence. If you're part of the Alphabet Squad, they will throw you off of the highest fucking place they can find. If you are a feminist, guess what? No, the fuck you're not. Not in any country that operates under Sharia law. This goes back to what I was talking about last week. These people, whether they're the Muslim migrants that are invading Britain, the UK, Scotland, Ireland, Wales, they're in Germany, they're in France, and a lot of places throughout the European Union, they're not there to assimilate, acclimate, and join the Western mindset. They're there to supplant it with their religious beliefs, ideas, and values. And by and wide, they're succeeding because they're replacing a bunch of soy-flavored, weak-willed, fucking leftist liberal retards who don't seem to understand, or maybe they do, because, like I keep saying, the left is a death cult. They are not... There's nothing about life in their values, structures, or beliefs. They are almost begging to be replaced by people who don't share their values, that have a strong-willed drive to continue to exist and procreate and replicate and replace the non with the people that they are. And it's happening pretty much across the board. So it's, like I said, it's coming soon to a Democratic stronghold near you. Your replacements have already been selected. They're staying in hotels on your dime right now. The economy's in the toilet. If Kamala gets elected, it will be completely destroyed. She is a fiscally retarded offspring of a fucking Marxist sack of shit with no grounding in reality, and she's easily manipulated and controlled because she's a fucking drunk and, assuming she's not on any benzos or anything else, and she's an idiot. So it's a really dangerous combination. And again, the SEALs clap and cheer and scream and shout when she comes in the room, and oh boy. Now, to briefly touch on the other thing I was thinking of before I forget it again. Speaking of controlling the food supply so you control the people, I can't speak for anybody else. I know my garden hasn't been doing as good as it had been in the past, the last few years, actually. And this year we just opted to do container gardens. But I found out through, this, that, and the other, and so things I've read online, it's not just me. A lot of farmers are having trouble getting their crops to produce. A lot of home gardeners are having trouble getting their crops to produce. A lot of farmers have been having problems with their heirloom seeds, stuff that's not GMO modified crops. Their seeds just aren't taking, or the plants aren't producing, and they're not yielding. And recently it came out that there was an account that posted some information saying this guy has gone to get his soil tested to find out why all of a sudden seeds that his families have been saving and harvesting and growing for generations no longer want to take in the earth on their property. And the amount of aluminum in the soil in his ground has like quadrupled in the last 5 years. And the new plants won't grow in the aluminum-enriched soil. Now, the problem with that is, if you look at the GMO-modified seeds, you know who's been working on developing seeds that will grow in aluminum-enriched soils? Yeah, Bill Gates has been funding the research and development for seeds that will function in high aluminum content soil. Nothing, suspicious or curious about that at all. Again, we're looking at tinfoil hat territory here, but it's the fact of the matter is, so if you're having a garden and it's not growing for shit and you've been planting in the same place for years and you rotate your plants so you know you're not nutrient robbing the soil, and you do companion planting and all the other shit that my wife has been very serious about over the course of our marriage. Well, every year we have a garden. We need to rotate the plants so we don't kill the dirt. We need to plant this with that and that with this. So this takes nutrients out of the soil. This puts nutrients back into the soil. We need to cut in and fold in, and we mix in mulch and all this other crap. And for some odd reason, the plants still just don't want to fucking grow like they used to. I mean, we even planted giant sunflowers in the same place where we've planted sunflowers in the past. And in the past, they grew to be taller than the fucking house. This year, they're about 3.5 feet tall. The ones that have made it, many of them have died off. Only one of them actually has a flower head on it. It's just really suspect. So, all that chemical shit and the chemtrails we see in the air and the cloud seeding they're doing, the aluminum oxide they put into the oxygen to try and seed clouds. Yeah, that might be kind of problematic for us. So, again, you control the food and you control the population. They don't want. That's why there are so many villages and neighborhoods and towns where they have regulations. Now, you can't have chickens, you can't have livestock. Regardless of how much land you have, if you're within the certain boundaries, you just can't have them. And other ridiculous shit to try and control and regulate and minimize your ability to control your own fucking life. And it's just going to get worse. There's going to be more regulation. The price controls are going to create food dearths. Over-regulation is going to do things. Camel Toe wants to fucking throw, price gouging regulations in there to make sure the supermarkets aren't screwing people over. Supermarkets operate on a 2 to 3% margin. They're not the ones fucking people over. It's, again, the reckless government spending and the inflation to pay that reckless government spending based on them printing money out of thin air, diluting the cash supply and making your money worth fucking less. I saw a really good thing that illustrated this the other day. It said the minimum wage in, I believe it was 1967 or something like that, was $1.25. 5 silver quarters. And now you fast forward to today, minimum wage, they're fighting for 15 and all this other shit. You take 5 pure silver quarters at this point, it's worth about $35. So the problem isn't that the minimum wage has changed. The problem is that the money's fucking worthless because it's imaginary money. And if we don't get back onto a standard grounded in reality, we're pretty much fucked. And then one last little thing I'm going to throw out there, and then I'm going to wrap this up. The campaign, the Walz-Harris campaign, has been running on this theme in the last few days of joy. They're bringing joy back to the world, and joyful this and joyful that. They're trying to use the concept of joy to offset Kamala's fucking mental tick of her pointless and inane cackle, the grating fucking hyena noise that is her response to literally everything. And they're trying to brand it as joy. Now, the ironic thing to this is it's kind of like anytime the Democrats talk about liberty or freedom or patriotism or anything else that really doesn't actually mesh up with what their values are. I mean, they say the words, but they really don't apparently embrace the meaning behind them. And as somebody who's pretty much a straight shooter, and believe me, I have plenty to say about the fucking Republicans too, because I don't think for a moment I particularly laud them. I just loathe them less at the moment. But ultimately, these cocksuckers, the people who are trying to run on a campaign of joy, are trying to sell this pitch to the most miserable, fucking self-loathing, depraved, twisted, just self-hatred having motherfuckers on the fucking planet. The fucking leftist, blue-haired, I'm in the wrong body, you will respect my pronouns and my beliefs. These miserable fucking cunts, the fucking homeless, childless, loveless, barren, bereft fucking cat lady motherfuckers. I mean, yes, I'm a fan of cats, and if you like cats, I should actually allow me to amend that. I am now a fan of cats. I never used to care for cats up until my late 20s when my wife and I got married, and my wife came with a cat. She had a cat, and that cat grew on me a lot, mostly because he thought he was a fucking dog. He opened a little soft spot I didn't know existed in my heart for small furry critters. I mean, I've always had a thing for small furry critters. I love small furry critters. I like critters better than I like most fucking people because you know where they stand with you. They run away, they're scared of you. If they bare their teeth and they lunge at you, they're gonna fucking bite you because they don't like what you're doing. There's no ambiguity. They're gonna smile to your face and then talk shit about you when you leave the room. That's purely a people problem. But I digress. So this pitch of we're here, we're the party of joy, we're going to bring joy back to your lives. You know, when you're miserable and starving, I'm sure that'll be some consolation that this cackling cunt managed to convince you that this is how you bring joy back to things. We don't need people who are focused on bringing joy. We need people who are focused on fixing the fucking problems created by decades of fucking bureaucratic waste and nonsense. And do I think Trump's that guy? No, I really don't think he's the fucking one either. If his first 4 years in office was any indication, no, the fuck he's not, because he didn't do anything to shrink the government. He didn't do anything to fight the machine or drain the swamp. He allowed himself to be manipulated through his ego and through his fucking belief that he had surrounded himself with the best people, which obviously he fucking hadn't, or things would have gotten done. And the fact that he handed over the government to Fauci because somebody told him that was a way to be the hero, was to fucking, we need to rush through this vaccine and we need to fight this pandemic off and listen to the experts and blah, 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 blah. I mean, the guy was played like a fucking fiddle. He surrounded himself by fucking swamp rats, and then it was kind of like, oh, well, it's not my fault that things didn't get fixed. Now, granted, the fucking Democrats did everything they could to stymie everything he tried to do at every fucking opportunity. And the fucking rhinos went along with it. They didn't fight. They didn't try and, stand their ground or stand on principle. It was a bunch of uniparty horseshit trying to stop anything the guy actually did try and accomplish. But at the end of the day, he didn't accomplish shit. And I am a person who believes, to an extent I believe in second chances, but I also believe look at the past and don't fucking ignore it when you're trying to make your decisions based for the future. So, yeah, do I think Donald Trump's better than anything the left has to offer? By fucking leaps and bounds. Do I think he's going to save the fucking country? We may be past the point of no return. And as I've said multiple times at this point, it's not going to end clean. It's not going to end nice. It's going to end bloody. It's going to end violent. No matter who wins, shit is going to go sideways. If the leftists win and they get to start trying to crack down on people, it's going to be a fight. People are done. They're not going to allow any more infringements upon their rights. They're not going to allow any more encroachment on their beliefs. They're not going to voluntarily give up their arms. And when they start trying to come house to house and take them, because that's what fucking commies do, motherfuckers are going to get shot. And that's going to be a spark that's going to say, if it's happening there, it could happen here. And all the fucking well-armed, well-forethought people are going to be disappearing into the woods, or else fucking waiting for the fucking trouble to come to them. And if Trump wins, and I'm still not convinced they're going to fucking allow that. I think they're going to, I'm convinced they're going to try and cheat again. And yes, I believe they cheated in 2020, because there's no way the two least popular fucks to ever hold that office won by a landslide. I'm sorry. There are too many improprieties, too many coincidences, too many votes turning up at 3 o'clock in the fucking morning that all happen to swing one fucking way. Just statistically, it's impossible that every fucking vote that turned up in one batch all had to be for the same fucking guy. Literally fucking impossible. But it's besides the point. The point is, it's going to end it's going to end in tears and blood, regardless of who fucking wins. I honestly believe that at this point. You can keep your head down, you can take care of you and yours, and that's really all you can do. Try and stay safe during the fucking tumultuous immediate future that we have to deal with. And for the love of fuck, do not comply when they start trying to push the next pandemic immediately before the election, and they're pushing monkeypox. I'm not calling it mpox, because I've had this conversation with a couple of people like, well, dude, you can't call it monkeypox anymore. Yes, the fuck I can. You know why? Because it's a viral infection that comes from fucking monkeys. And the people the reason they changed it to mpox is because it was offensive to black people. If you hear the word monkey and the first thing you think of is black people, let me tell you something. You're the fucking problem. You are the fucking racist. Nobody who is of a sane and rational mind hears monkey and thinks black people. That's like ignorant ass hillbillies and fucking leftists. That's who thinks that way. And frankly, I really doubt it's the hillbillies. You'll find some racist old redneck pieces of shit floating around all over the world. And, it's not just white people. There are plenty of racist, every other group of motherfuckers. And it's always, lower IQ, smooth brain fucks. But, they may still have decent values, and they may say, yeah, well, I don't like X, Y, and Z, but, they're still fucking people. They just ain't my people. I ain't going to associate with them because I don't have to. And you can't really force people like that to integrate and act like decent human beings. But on the other hand, if they're willing to just be content being left the fuck alone, leave them alone. They're not your fucking problem at that point. Who gives a fuck if they got some toxic, soul-shattering, worthless fucking worldview? If they're not out there trying to force it on everybody else, they just want to be left alone to stew in their fucking ignorance, let them fucking be, you fucking simple bastards. If they're not hurting anybody, if they're not bothering anybody, if they're just keeping to themselves thinking they're ignorant, racist bullshit, and they're just staying the fuck out of the way, let them fucking be. But no, we have all these fucking do-getters, self-righteous, sanctimonious, worthless, no value, no core, no fucking self-worth having motherfuckers who, since they can't actually consistently give themselves some sort of value, they don't have any real sense of self-worth, so they have to be out there doing this vocal, active fucking interference in everybody else's fucking lives. And I really believe that's part of the problem, is a complete lack of identity and self-worth in these fucking liberal retards that makes them feel like they have to impact the world in some sort of significant way, because they don't see themselves with holding any significance simply for being themselves. They realize that they're flawed, weak, and failed, so they feel like they have to go out and try and impact the fucking world and remake it in their image so they can somehow feel better about themselves at the end of the fucking day. But at the end of the day, it's a character flaw. It's an individual thing. It's the same thing that's wrong with all these motherfuckers who are like, oh, well, since I don't feel right about myself, I need to make sure that these other people understand and validate my fucking existence, because I can't do that for myself. It's a personal failing, and every last one of these fucks has it to some degree. And I'm not saying I'm perfect. We all have it to some degree. We all have something about ourselves, or at least the vast majority of us do. We have something about ourselves that we don't like, that we see as a failing or a shortcoming. The only difference is a healthy and well-adjusted individual either looks upon that as something that they have to learn to cope with, or something they have to work to better themselves at until that is no longer an issue. That is how a healthy, well-defined personality works. That is how a healthy mindset that's the difference between winners and losers, successes and failures. And when we stopped emphasizing the value of winning, this failing became so much more prevalent. It's definitely a social contagion, which is a concept that a lot of people just try to use to talk about the LGBTQIA LMNOP mind virus that is the assholes who want to go out there and transition kids and who believe, 4-year-olds have a sexual identity and all the other stupid, brainless, simplistic shit that is fucking it up for all the LGBT people that were just wanted to be cool and be left the fuck alone to live their best lives. They wanted to be seen as human beings, not as this other. They just wanted to be treated and valued the same as everybody else. And those people, those are my friends. Those are the ones I believe in and I feel for and I love and I support. Now, all these other assholes who want to make the world remake the world in their image, no, fuck you. You are selfish, you are weak, you are a failed, flawed human being, and instead of trying to fix yourself, you're trying to break the rest of the fucking world so you don't feel so broken yourself. It's weak-minded, it's pathetic, and frankly, anybody who operates under those auspices is a worthless, gutless, spineless, soulless, valueless sack of shit, and I'm tired of pretending like they're not. I'm tired of these people somehow thinking that their fucking shortcomings are everyone else's fucking problem, that they need to be celebrated because they can't celebrate them fucking selves. Am I the best person on the planet? No. Am I rich? Fuck no. I'm dirt fucking poor. I'm in red ink up to my fucking tits. Am I successful? Depends on who you ask and what you're basing it against. You go out and you ask somebody else who's been a chef for 30 fucking years, hey, what do you think of this guy? They're going to go, who? I don't have a lot of accolades. I don't have a bunch of fucking competition medals. I don't have a restaurant that has featured my dishes. I don't have name recognition. I don't have a TV show. I don't have a cookbook. I don't have a spice line. I don't have a seasoning line. I don't have a fucking sauce line. I don't have any of these things that, to a person who is more focused on material accomplishments and, making sure that you're validated for your successes. Those are all things that would be benchmarks of a successful life. And people who don't see me with those things may not necessarily think I'm a success. But you know what? I have a wife I love. I have a child who I am proud of, who has turned out to be an excellent young man, who is smart. He's got the capability to critically think. He's got a lovely fiance. I am very proud of the young man he's become. Is my life ideal? Far from it. Am I living the life I dreamed of? Not even fucking close. Am I content enough with myself that I don't feel like I need to blow the fucking world up because of it? Yeah, I am. You know why? At the end of the day, I'm a decent person. I mean, I'm an asshole. Don't get me wrong. I say that on a very regular basis. I'm not everybody's cup of tea. I am what I am, and I'm unapologetic about it because I have the self-confidence and the self-value and the self-worth to know that there's not another motherfucker out there like me. I'm not your average fucking mook. I'm not some fucking, just the average person. I mean, I'm a regular fucking guy. Don't get me wrong. I'm nothing outstanding or miraculous or spectacular. But on the other side of the coin, I have enough belief in myself. I see myself as bringing enough value to the table. I contribute to society. I contribute to my friends. I take care of the people I care about. Hell, I take care of people I don't care about if depending on the circumstances. I may be a little more jaded and bitter after spending enough time working in Chicago around a bunch of bums who were actually making better livings than I was just fucking begging. Because, again, no real when there's no incentive to work hard and do good, most people fucking won't. The people who want to work hard just for the joy of the work are really a very fucking rare breed these days. But on the other hand, the people who really throw themselves into the work because they enjoy it tend to be the ones that are more successful too. So I guess that's some food for thought. And I'm definitely getting kind of rambly here. But like I said, the biggest problem I have with these fuckstains is the fact that they lack that moral core and that foundation, that strength of character, and they subsequently think the rest of the world should be broken to their standards so they don't feel out of place. They don't ever want to work on themselves. They just want to fuck everything else up so their fucked up is not so blatantly fucking apparent to themselves. And these are weak-minded motherfuckers who only see their own value in what is reflected from those around them. And they're never going to be whole. As long as your happiness and your worth and your sense of accomplishment and everything else is dependent on external factors, when it's contingent upon other people telling you how good you are and how well you're doing and how fantastic you are, you're never going to be whole. And I mean, yes, it's nice to hear other people tell you you did good. It's nice to hear other people tell you that you're doing something well, or that you did a really good job on something, or that you did something that touched them in some way. It feels good. It feels nice. But if that's your only source of validation is external, you're never going to be happy. It doesn't matter how much you break the world around you, you're still going to be a miserable fuck. Because external validation is fleeting. It's short-term. It doesn't last. It's not going to endure. If you can't reach inside yourself and feel that you are a solid individual, you're never going to be a fucking solid individual. You can't build a fucking house on top of a pile of sand. It's the truth. Yeah, it's a misbastardization of a biblical quote, but at the end of the day, you have to build on a foundation of rock. If you don't have that foundation, you're never going to be able to build anything that fucking lasts. All you're going to be able to do is watch shit collapse around you. So I guess that's kind of where I'm at this point. I hope for all of my listeners, and I hope for any new people that happen to find the show, God bless you if you hung around this fucking long. And I'm saying that not in any one particular God, not Christian God, not Yay God, not, Allah, not Buddha, not any of the other shit. Just, general plea to the universe. Good on you if you made it this far, listening to my pointless rambling and babbling. But if you take anything away from this, that's really what I would say is you gotta be willing to work on yourself. If you're not willing to look in the mirror and address your flaws and your shortcomings and your failings, and take that as something you can build off of, something to look at people who are having more success than you and see what they're doing differently and incorporate that into your strategy instead of bitching about why the world doesn't appreciate you doing things the way you want to. Stop being a lazy motherfucker. Stop expecting the world to accommodate you. Start fucking making yourself better. It's not easy. It's really not. I mean, I'm still working on myself on a daily fucking basis. And physically, mentally, emotionally. Well, I don't know about emotionally. I probably, depending on who you ask, I've been emotionally stunted since I was like 14. So I've also been told I'm emotionally constipated. I've also been told that I have the emotional width of your average toddler. So, again, that may not be the best reference, but mentally, I keep working on making myself better, trying to keep the noggin sharp, trying to keep the critical analytical abilities honed so I'm not taken advantage of, so I'm not some fucking simple-minded retard that will believe whatever I'm told to believe. And physically, I've been going to the gym like every day because I need to lose a fuck ton of weight. I've lost a fuck ton of weight, objectively. From when I was at my heaviest, I'm down like 130 pounds, which is no small feat. I'm fairly proud of that accomplishment. Now, granted, some of it was due to like taking medication because for whatever the fuck is wrong with me where my body retains extra fluids. They still haven't been able to tell me why it does it. They just know that it does it. So I take a pill that keeps my body from retaining fluids. It makes me pee like a fucking clown for the first 2 hours every morning. But even with that, I'm still going to the gym for minimum of 4 days a week, most weeks more, 5 or 6, and putting in the work, doing cardio, doing physical labor, getting stronger, watching my maxes go up every couple of weeks. I mean, I'm not going at some crazy rate. I'm not trying to be some big swole bodybuilder. I'm not looking to compete. I'm looking to get healthy enough where I'm going to be able to hang around for a while, where ideally I could get off of most of the fucking medications I'm on right now. That's what I want. So I work for it. I don't expect there to be some magic fucking answer. I'm not the person who goes out there going, you know what, I need an Ozempic shot because I don't want to get off my ass and I don't want to change my fucking diet. Now, basically on a professional analysis, which is bolstered by the fact that I do understand nutrition, I'm working with people who understand nutrition. My doctor understands nutrition. My caloric intake is really not that terrible where that's the problem. The problem is the way my body processes things, and I understand that. So I work on changing it. I work on getting my metabolism fixed from all the years of abusing it. I work on getting to the position where I'm not going to need medications because my body's going to get back to working fucking properly. Hopefully. It's not fucking easy. I hate getting up before fucking dawn every morning to go to the gym so I can still be on time to go to work. But you know what? That's what needs to be done, so that's the work I fucking do. Does that make me better than people? Honestly, yes, it fucking does, because I'm not going to go around saying, okay, no, it's okay if you don't want to try. It's okay if you don't want to put in the work. No, if you don't want to put in the work, if you don't want to put forth the effort, then you don't get to bitch about your lack of fucking results. You're not owed a fucking thing, not from the world, not from life, and not from fucking society. You get out there and you earn what you want. You you do the work, you build the muscle, you build your mental muscles, build your physical muscles, build your fucking emotional muscles so you can deal with shit like a fucking adult instead of throwing goddamn tantrums and burning down cities when you don't get your fucking way. Which, let's face it, it's on the horizon. I'll say better than even money. Chicago's on fire by Friday. But ironically enough, my birthdays are right around the corner, so it would be funny to me if that happened before my birthday, that Chicago winds up on fire. And ironically enough, usually I don't talk about my birthday. I've been doing that a lot this year for some reason. It's not even like it's a big deal birthday. I just feel, I don't know, man, for some reason I feel the need where it keeps coming up. And I've never been that guy. I've never taken a day off of work because it's my birthday. I've never said, oh, well, it's my birthday, I need to be, lauded and celebrated. Usually I don't fucking care. It's another fucking day to me. I gave a shit about the 25th birthday because my car insurance rates went down. I gave a shit about the 30th birthday because it was a big round number, and big round number. And that was the last time I really fucking cared. I don't care now. I don't care. I won't care when my birthday rolls around. But on the other hand, the day after the DNC ends up, this coming Friday is, because the DNC's last night is Thursday, this coming Friday is my birthday. I will not be going anywhere near Chicago, so I won't be going to work that day. I'm taking the day off primarily because I don't want to deal with the potential after effects of a bunch of fucking worthless, shiftless, just lazy, retarded motherfuckers who should realistically be in their first week of college, because let's face it, a lot of these protesting motherfuckers, the Antifa motherfuckers and the fucking, gay, queer, fucking retarded motherfuckers for Palestine and all these other pieces of shit, it's that same category. That Venn diagram has a huge fucking overlap in it, where they have these idiots who were stirring up trouble on college campuses a couple of months ago are the same fucking idiots that are in Chicago right the fuck now causing problems. So I don't anticipate things going really super well on that respect. And honestly, like I said, if I have a half-assed excuse to stay the fuck away from the city on that day, guess what? I'm taking it. I'm still going to go to the gym, but I already have lovely plans. Going to go spend the day with my lovely wife and see my mother and my stepdad. They're going to be in the area coincidentally, so we're going to go out and grab a bite to eat. It's going to be lovely. And I'm sorry, I'm babbling about my personal shit now. And oh wait, it's all my personal shit. That's the whole show. Anyway, thanks for listening to another episode, guys. If you liked what you heard, leave a comment, leave a review, leave a rating. Go to ihadtosayitpodcast.com, sign up for the mailing list, interact with the show. Click the links, sign up for the Patreon, join the Discord. Come and interact. Be a part of the show. Buy the merch. Support your favorite creator. Or support me. Anyway, thanks for listening, guys. Till next time.